Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another one of Mr. Martin's dramatic readings of Romeo and Juliet. Today we're picking up with Act 1, Scene 3, where we left off yesterday. I realized that the video yesterday was cut off a little bit into Scene 2. I had tried that video several times, so by the end of it, I figured, you know what, they can probably, apparently there's a 15-minute time limit, so I figured if you read that far, you're probably safe to read that last little bit of scene 2. It was a short scene. Anyway, picking up here, enter Lady Capulet and Nurse. We're in Act 1, Scene 3. Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Now by my maidenhead, a 12-year-old I bade her come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What Juliet? Enter Juliet. How now? Who calls? Your mother. Madam, I am here. What is your will? This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou's hear our counsel. Thou know'st my daughter's of a pretty age. Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour. She's not 14. I'll lay 14 on my teeth, and yet to my teen be it spoken, I have but 4. She is not 14. How long is it now, Lamistide? A fortnight and odd days. Even or odd, of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve, at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. She was too good for me. But as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she. Mary, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it. Of all the days of the year upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall, my lord and you were then at Mantua. Nay, I do bear a brain, but as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug, and felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it tetchy and fall out with the dug. Shake, quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time it is 11 years, for then she could stand alone. Nay, by the rood, she could have run and waddled all about, for even the day before she broke her brow. And then my husband, God be with his soul, he was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit. Wilt thou not, Jule? And by my holy dame, the pretty wretch left crying, and said I, to see now how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jule? Quoth he. And, pretty fool, it stinted, and said I. Enough of this, I pray thee, hold thy peace. Yes, madam. Yet I cannot choose but laugh to think it should be leave crying and say I, and yet I warrant it had upon its brow a bump as big as a young cockerel stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fall'st upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age. Wilt thou not, Jule? It stinted, and said I. And stint thou too, I pray thee. Nurse, say I. Peace I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that I e'er nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish. Married, that Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? It is an honor that I dream not of. An honor! Were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou hadst sucked wisdom from thy teat. Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid. Thus, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love. A man, young lady, such a man as all the world. Why, he's a man of wax. Verona's summer hath not such a flower. Nay, he's a flower, in faith, a very flower. What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast, read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find Delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every merry lineament, and see how one another lends content, and what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him, making yourself no less. No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men. Speak briefly. Can you like Paris love? I'll look to like if looking liking move, but no more deep will I endart my eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly. Enter Peter. Madam, the guests are come, supper served up, you called, my young lady asked for, the nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait, I beseech you, follow straight. We follow thee, Juliet, the county stays. Go, girl, seek happy nights to happy days. Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 4. Enter Romeo, Mercutio, Benvolio, with 5 or 6 other maskers and torchbearers. What shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology? The date is out of such prolixity. We'll have no Cupid hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of lath, scaring the ladies like a crow-keeper, nor no without book prologue, faintly spoke after the prompter for our entrance. But let them measure us, by what they will, we'll measure them a measure, and be gone. Give me a torch, I am not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light. Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance. Not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground, I cannot move. You're a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings, and soar with them above common bound. I am too sore and pierced with his shaft, to soar with his light feathers, and so bound, I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink. And to sink it in, should you burthen love, too great oppression for a tender thing. Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn. If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in, a visor for a visor. What care I, what curious eye doth coat deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me. Come, knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs. A torch for me, let wantons light of heart tickle the senseless rushes with their heels, for I am proverbed with a grandsire phrase, I'll be a candle holder and look on, the game was ne'er so fair, and I'm done. Tut, done's the mouse, the constable's own word, if thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire, or save your reverence, love wherein thou stick'st up to the ears. Come, we burn daylight, ho! Nay, that's not so. I mean, sir, in delay, we waste our lights in vain, like lights by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times, and that err once in our fine wits. And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go. Why, may one ask? I dreamt a dream tonight, and so did I. Well, what was yours? That dreamers often lie, in bed asleep while they do dream things true. Oh then, I seen Queen Mab hath been with you. Queen Mab, what's she? She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomy over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes made of long spinner's legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, her traces of the smallest spider's web, her collars of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket's bone, the lash of film, her wagoner a small gray-coated gnat, not half so big as a round little worm pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut, made by the joiner squirrel or old grub. Time out, O mine, the fairies' coachmakers, and in this state she gallops night by night. through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love on courtiers' knees, that dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry mab with blisters plagues, because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit. And sometimes comes with the tithe pig's tail tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep. Then he dreams of another benefice. Sometime she driveth o'er a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breaches, ambuscados, Spanish blades, of health 5 fathoms deep. And then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frightened swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very mab that plaits the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in foul sluttish hairs, which once entangled, so much misfortune bodes. This is the hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she. Peace, peace, Mercutio, peace. Thou talk'st of nothing. True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south. This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late. I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars. Shall bitterly begin this fearful date with the night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life, closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course direct my sail. On, lusty gentlemen! Strike, drum! March about the stage, and exit. Act 1, Scene 5. Peter and the other serving-men come forth with napkins. Where's Pot Pan that he helps not to take away? He shift a trencher, he scrape a trencher. When good manners shall lie all in one or two men's hands, and they unwashed too, 'tis a foul thing. Away with the joint stools, remove the court cupboard, look to the plate. Good thou, save me a piece of marchpane, and as thou loves me, let the porter let in Susan Grindstone and Nell, Anthony and Pot Pan. Aye, boy, ready. You are looked for and called for, asked for and sought for in the great chamber. We cannot be here and there too. Cheerly, boys, be brisk a while, and the longer liver take all. Exeunt Peter and serving-men. Enter Capulet with Capulet's cousin Tybalt, Lady Capulet, Juliet, and others of the house, meeting Romeo, Benvolio, Mercutio, and other guests and maskers. Welcome, gentlemen, ladies that have their toes. Ah, my mistresses, which of you all unplagued with corns will walk about with you? Will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns. Am I come near ye now? Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I have worn a visor, and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as would please. 'Tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You're welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play. Music plays, and they dance. A hall, give room, and foot it, girls, more light, you knaves, and turn the tables up and quench the fire. The room is grown too hot. Ah, sirrah, this unlooked-for sport comes well. Nay, sit, good cousin Capulet, for you and I are past our dancing days. How long is't now since last yourself and I were in mask? Burr, lady, 30 years. What, man, 'tis not so much, 'tis since the nuptials of Lucentio. Come Pentecost as quickly as it will, some 25 years, and then we masked. 'Tis more. His son is elder, sir, his son is 30. Will you tell me that? His son was but a ward 2 years ago. What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? I know not, sir. Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in Ethiope's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. She shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight. for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.